All right, so good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Wildfire Safety Equipment Prize Challenge virtual information session. My name is William Osorio. I'm one of the project managers here at the Tech Grove. And on behalf of our team, we want to thank you for not only joining us today, but for your interest in the prize challenge itself, right? We know how important this is to our team and for wildland firefighters everywhere. And we just thank you for being a part of this session today. Before we get started, I just want to go ahead and let everyone know that this session is being recorded. We're going to be using this as a resource for you, and we'll be posting the recording onto the challenge page so you can reference it as needed as we move forward in the challenge. Okay, so our agenda for today, we've broken it up into about 5 different sections. So the first thing we're going to cover today is just a little bit about the Central Florida Tech Grove, who we are and what we do. Next, we'll jump into the challenge problem and the desired solution. So what it is that we're looking for out of this prize challenge. Next, we'll shift gears and move into the prize challenge process itself, so you can know exactly what to expect in the next coming weeks and months as we go from phase 1 to phase 2 and ultimately award the winners of the prize challenge. And then we'll wrap up with timeline, key dates, and reminders, and then a Q&A session so you can leave with all your questions answered, hopefully. All right, so hopefully we'll be able to answer all your questions here for today to get you on the right foot as we move into the prize challenge. Okay, so the Tech Grove. So if you are unfamiliar, or maybe this is your first time joining us, to put it simply, the Tech Grove is an innovation hub. So we help connect government, industry, and academia to help solve real life challenges rapidly, right? We do that in a number of ways, but the first thing is we leverage our vast network and relationships. And then the other thing is we use very specific tools that we have at our disposal. Things like technology scans, tabletop exchanges, and in this case, prize challenges to help identify innovative solutions. At the end of the day is really to connect great ideas, emerging technologies, and then mission needs so we can help drive innovation forward. So that's what we do here at the Tech Grove. And that's why you'll see not only this prize challenge, but other events, our tabletop exchanges, and other prize challenges that we have that we're running concurrently, all with the idea that we're trying to move rapidly and drive innovation forward as best we can. Okay. With that being said, let's jump into the prize challenge itself. So we can talk about the problem statement and then obviously what the solution would look like, what we're looking for in a solution. So the problem statement, I'm going to go ahead and read right from the slide so we get a good idea of what it is that we're looking for. Wildland firefighters face severe hazards, including high heat exposure, smoke and toxic gases, and physical strain from heavy gear during extended 14 to 16-hour operations. Current PPE often requires trade-offs between protection, mobility, weight, and endurance. So not only are wildland firefighters dealing with hazardous conditions, they're working long hours, and then they have things that are impeding their performance, mobility, weight, and they're having to make difficult choices. So what we want to do is, or the opportunity here is to leverage technology and advances in equipment, wearable technology, and protective systems to improve their conditions, right? How can we improve their safety, their health, without having to compromise operational effectiveness, right? So that's kind of the trade-off that we're looking for. And this is a sector that hasn't seen significant updates in a long time, and we feel like right now is the perfect time to bring innovation to this sector, and we hope that you're able to help us with that. So what does the desired outcome look like, right? We're looking for innovations that improve firefighter safety, health, and operational endurance, and then also address real-world safety gaps in fire line effectiveness. So performance as well as health and safety, right? As long as those are baked into the solution, we are open to what the actual technology or the solution looks like. right? So we've really kept this open, but we want to make sure that the guidelines, health, safety, and operational effectiveness are always kept, front and center. Right. Now, so what do those solutions include? They can include things like advanced PPE systems, embedded sensing and monitoring technologies, physiological protection systems, integrated safety solutions for field operations, and much more. They can be combinations of these. They can be ideas that haven't been expressly written down either here on the challenge page. This is where the innovation really comes into play. Right. So if you play in one of these sectors, that's wonderful. But if you also have other ideas, we're open to those, because as we said, innovation is at the heart of everything we do here at the Tech Grove. And we hope that you're able to bring that to the table. Okay, so the challenge process. So how do we get the ball rolling? What does the process look like for these prize challenges? Really straightforward. The first thing we did is, we kind of put together a success list or a to-do list for everyone who's looking to participate. The first thing you want to do when you're looking to get started with the prize challenge is make sure that you're able to access the challenge page. We've put down very specific instructions, details, everything from submission requirements to evaluation criteria, how you're going to be judged, as well as terms and eligibility and links and additional resources. So we've put everything from A to Z inside of this challenge page, so you have everything you need to be able to fulfill and participate in the prize challenge page. If you haven't had a chance to access the page, you can do that at centralfloриdatechgrove.org/wildfire safety equipment prize challenge. There you'll be able to submit your application. You'll be able to take a look at that evaluation criteria and even ask any questions that you might have. All right, so that's your go-to for this challenge. The second thing that you want to do is make sure that you note all key dates and deadlines. All right, we have submission deadlines that are very strict, right? So we have an application form that all participants are required to fill out, and that has to be done by a specific date. So please make sure you have that in your calendar. We're going to go through the timeline in just a few minutes, but I want to make sure that everyone understands how important it is to make sure that you have all these dates noted. You can find the timeline on the challenge page in the timeline section. And then we also have a see details link at the top of the challenge page with a pop-up box, and that'll give you all the important dates that you should keep in mind. Okay. All right, third thing to keep in mind, make sure that you're assembling your team and preparing your submissions accordingly. And then fourth, make sure that all your submissions must follow challenge instructions. So we're very specific with the formats and the files that we allow for submissions. So we accept PowerPoints, we accept PDFs, and we accept video links. No MP4 uploads are allowed, right? So if you're going to send a video, you can upload it to YouTube and then send us that link. You can also embed your videos into your PowerPoint deck or PDFs, but video links, PowerPoint, and PDFs are the only file formats that we accept. Okay, the next very important thing that we want you to keep in mind is make sure that you're submitting questions, right? If you have questions, obviously we're going to have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation here today, but you may have questions along the way. And on the challenge page, if you scroll to the bottom of the page, you'll see a contact form, and you can go ahead and fill that out. Our team is normally going to answer you within 24 to 48 hours. That goes for prize challenge process questions, which the Tech Grove can answer. But in the case that it's a more technical question that you have, that you need a little guidance on, we have our subject matter experts that can also weigh in on those inquiries. So please submit your questions as they come in. We'll be able to answer them in 24 to 48 hours. And then also, we're going to be compiling all of these questions and adding them into our frequently asked questions section on our challenge page, so you can use them as a resource to reference as you need as you go through the prize challenge. Okay, key dates and deadlines. So we kicked off the challenge. The official kickoff date was March 25th. All right, so last week we kicked it off. And now we have 4 specific dates that we want to make sure that you're aware of. The first one, and really the most important one right now at this moment in time, is the submissions deadline, which is June 3rd, 2026. Okay, so June 3rd is the last day for you to submit your solution. And we actually have the application form that cuts off at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time on June 3rd. So please make sure you have your submissions complete and turned in before that time. The next date that you want to keep in mind is the evaluation period. So once these submissions close, we're going to move into the evaluation period, and that's where the judges are going to be grading all of the submissions and really evaluating who's going to move on to the next phase of the challenge. We will be notifying finalists on June 22nd, 2026. So if you do not receive an email notification, that means you have not advanced to the next phase of the challenge, unfortunately. But all finalists will be selected and notified. So you will be receiving an email on June 22nd with all the information on the next steps in the challenge. The next date, July 5th, is going to be the final demo day deliverables due date, right? So in the email that we sent all the finalists on June 22nd, you're going to have step-by-step directions on what we're going to need for you to participate in the final demo day, so the final step of the prize challenge. And the July 5th date is when we're going to need specific items submitted so we can have them ready for the demo day. All right, and that'll only apply to the finalists. And then finally, the demo day, the final demo day will be held in the Tech Grove here in Orlando, Florida on July 22nd, 2026. That's going to be a full day event. So if you are selected to participate, please make plans for travel and a full day of demonstrations. All right, so just to recap, here are some of the most important milestones that you want to keep in mind. June 3rd, all submissions are due. Application closes at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time on that date. On June 22nd, judges will have gone through and evaluated all of the submissions, and we will have selected finalists, and we'll be going ahead and notifying the finalists on who's going to be moving on to the demo day. And then finally, July 22nd is our final demo day event. Finalists are going to showcase their technology in a real world scenario, and it's going to be held here at the Tech Grove in Orlando, Florida. All right. And like I said before, everyone who advances to the final demo day will be notified via email prior to that. Okay. The award structure is going to be as follows. It's going to be first place as a grand prize of $40,000, second place $25,000, and third place $20,100. All right. So that's going to be the award structure. These are the most important dates to keep in mind. And as usual, if you have any questions, we're going to do our best to answer those. Okay, so that is the information that we have for you today regarding the prize challenge process, the timeline, and the submission process. So now we can shift over to the Q&A for the Q&A question format. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat, or you can go ahead and unmute yourself and answer and ask them as well. Any questions that you have regarding the challenge process, regarding the dates, regarding the submission process, or even any technical questions that you might have for our subject matter experts that are here on the line? Okay, so June, Junior, question is just the proposed solution or the prototype? It can be a proposed solution. It can be a proposed solution. You don't have to have the full prototype, right? But if you do have, we do want to see a slide deck, PDF. If you could provide video as well, that's fine. But you don't need to have the full prototype, especially for the first phase of the prize challenge, right? And by the way, if anyone on our team wants to chime in with their responses and add on, that would be great. Appreciate it. Okay, so Paul wrote in, is the demo day conducted in the wildland or WI environment? No, so it's going to be actually held here at the Tech Grove, right? So it's going to be in our facility, and it's going to be essentially demonstrating your prototypes, or in the case where you don't have something tangible, you'll be able to submit a deliverable, like I said, a PowerPoint file, video, and or a PDF. No problem, Paul. You're welcome. Any other questions? Like I said, you can put them in the chat. You can unmute yourself. And like I said, if there's anything I missed that any of our team members want to add in for clarity, please feel free. Jude, did you have another question? I see it shows that you're typing. Okay, so you mentioned the sensing system, whether we want to integrate the sensing system with the PPE. I'm not quite sure your question. Can you clarify a little bit? And by the way, if any of our subject matter experts want to go ahead and help with this one.
Yeah, June, we want any and all. So integrated sensor systems are great. Integrated sensor systems with PPE are even better. But any of those innovative solutions that advance the safety of firefighters in the wildland are going to be reviewed. Thank you, Will. Good job today.
All right, I appreciate it, Eric. Thank you. Thank you for that. All right. Any other questions? Remember, even if you don't have a question today or it doesn't come to you, you can always go ahead and jump into our challenge page at the bottom and fill out the contact form, and either myself or somebody from our team will go ahead and get back to you as soon as possible. All right. If there are no more questions, we can go ahead and wrap up the information session for today. We look forward to your solutions. We look forward to the prize challenge, the prize challenge process. And like I said, if any questions come to mind, please reach out to our team. We're glad to help. Thank you, everyone, for attending today. And I will be posting this recording very soon. Thank you, everyone. Take care.